Yo, what's up, Foolies? It's your boy Othree. Welcome back to the Othree Exhibit. This is exhibit number 36. This is for the family, friends, and followers of Julz. We talk about his roots, being an athlete, fatherhood, and more. Now for the story of Julz, post up and enjoy.
Yeah, bro, I got back to being me, man. Feels good.
Eh? Back at it again?
Back to Jules, man.
When'd you when'd you get him died?
Like right before I moved back, and it was
Yeah?
just one of those things where, like, I was telling you, I was just getting back to being me. Like, even being Goldie, like Goldilocks. Don't get me wrong, it's a cool nickname. I never had nothing by it, but it was, still behind it. It's like a certain thing people were expecting of me versus just me being Jules.
True.
And you know what I mean. I just want to be Jules, like 100 all the time. Like, you know what I mean? I don't want to work somewhere where I can't be Jules. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I got you. Well, I mean the camera's already rolling and shit, dog. This is another episode on a long line of stories. So today for the story of you want to introduce yourself before we begin?
Yo, what up? It's your boy Jules, aka Julian. Um, I'm a teacher, educator, sports coach, and most importantly, I'm a husband and a father.
Boom, perfect. But like I mentioned, this is a long line of stories that I started covering since the beginning of last year. So it's a project that has been ongoing, and you were on my list of potential guests. Um,
Thank you. I'm honored.
so when I had the chance to, because it's like I have a long list of guests, and then I reach out to people, and then most of the time people say yes, right? So
Mhm.
uh I kind of covered a long list already from that potential guest. But I feel like we had a conversation last year, right? When I first started about maybe you
Yeah.
being a guest on my podcast, correct?
hmm
And so I was like, you know what, let me hit this fool up. I haven't chopped it up with this fool in a minute. But it's good to hear from you, big dog. Um, Anything you want to say before we begin the actual interview?
No, just I'm excited to be here, man. I'm excited you're doing your podcast. This is something that's been a long time in the making. And for me, I'm just glad that I get to step into your world because I know this is a passion of yours.
Yeah, we used to chop it up. We met at this job we were both working at. We'll kind of cover in the later in the interview. But to begin every conversation, every episode, I like to talk about family, roots, and identity. So my question to you, Julian, is where's your family from? How far back can you trace your lineage?
Okay. Well, my family's from St. Lucia. My dad was born and raised there. My mom is from Shaker Heights, Cleveland, Ohio. I can trace my mom's heritage back, I'm pretty sure all the way back to slavery. Times whenever you go to family unions, there's like this big board and they trace back everyone's name and stuff like that. I just honestly, it's too long for me to remember. Um, and honestly, I'm a little more close to my dad's side of the family.
Mm.
Um, they're from St. Lucia. We go there usually in the summertime. My dad, unfortunately, his dad passed away when he was really young, so I don't know his grandfather. And I didn't really get to meet his grandmother, but I've learned about my family's heritage and my St. Lucian roots through my aunts and my uncles and like godfathers or like friends of family that are somewhat family. Like when we go back, I just talk to people that are friends of my dad's.
Saint Lucia. Let's talk about that real quick, because we used to have a lot of conversations about the similarities between the Mexican culture and the Saint Lucian culture. Correct? Where exactly is Saint Lucia at in the map for those that don't know?
St. Lucia is an island in the West Indies. Similar, like if you look at Florida on a map and you just kind of go down, you see Cuba, Dominican Republic, Jamaica, 4 or 5 islands down, you'll find an island called St. Lucia near St. Vincent and St. Croix. And yeah, it's a really small country. I really like it, although it's a small country. It offers a lot. There's the hills, there's the mountains that has like its own natural hot springs, like a sulfur springs. You go in there, you put like the sulfur on your skin. It's kind of like clay, but when you take it off, you feel so much younger. But more importantly, the one thing I really like about it is the pride in culture, and I feel like Mexican culture, Spanish culture in general, that you're proud of where you come from. Um, Family morals and values also something that are that you hold close. Like no matter what, they I was always taught you love your family. You don't get to choose your family, but you love them regardless. No family is perfect, and so for me, like I had a hard time, or I have a hard time being around people who treat their family poorly or don't like their family because like I'm like that's your family. There's so many people who don't have that or be grateful for it. And it's for me, it's hard to know where you're going if you don't know where you come from.
Ooh.
Like part of my work ethic, is because I know that my dad came here, from St. Lucia and how he was treated as an immigrant, when I was a child and all the different jobs that I seen him had and how he would, do whatever he had to do to put, food on the table, to keep clothes on our backs, and that drive, I feel like a lot of Americans don't have because we have this system that naturally takes care of you, not in a poor way, but if you aren't an American citizen or if you were an immigrant until, laws were passed where now they get the same rights or they have more access to resources that Americans do now, it was hard, yeah, especially in the early 90s and 2000s.
Mm. So when did your pops make the trip? When did he migrate over here?
Let's see. This is going to be about roughly, but I was born in 91. My parents were married slash dating for like 3 or 4 years before I was born. So that's 87. So I
Mm.
would say he came over here in 86, 85. He left St. Lucia. He was driving ships for the naval base. So he was going to England, all different, basically, in the British Navy, because at the time, St. Lucia was owned by Britain. Then after that, he drove cruise ships, and that's actually where he met my mom. He was driving a cruise ship. They became pen pals
Yeah.
for like a year or so, and then he settled in New York. And that's actually a funny story because my mom is from Cleveland, mind you, and she's on a cruise, and she met my dad from. So my mom just left my grandmother, her mom, a note, and while she was on vacation, that she had moved to New York. So my grandmother got home to a letter that my mom had moved to New York,
What the
and yeah,
fuck?
with my pops, you know what I mean? They moved in together, got a little place. Long story short, they got married, and then 91, I'm born.
Hey, that's a fucking movie right there. It's like
Yeah,
one
my
of those
dad's.
classic romantic ass movies settings and plots right there. That's beautiful, man. That's fucking
Yeah,
beautiful.
what's even crazier is that you know what I mean. I'm from the city. You know what I mean. I went out to LA. You know what I mean, to take care of my son, and then I met my wife. You know what I mean, from South Central, Mexican, and now we're back in New York.
You want the same thing? Same cycle right there. Exactly,
Yeah,
dog.
I'm a junior for sure.
Hey, but you know, I've uh I've heard you tell some of these stories when we used to work together, but it's cool to hear more in depth. Like this is why I do it. Like this is why I do the podcast because
Hmm.
there's this. I'm a fucking historian, so I love hearing people's stories. There's something about me that I just love hearing people's stories. I'm very curious about humanity and the human psychology. But think about that, like just big picture. On a cruise ship working, and then boom, he meets the love of his life, and that's like I'm telling you, fool, that's a story fucking plot right there for a movie or something.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, my dad, all his stories are like that, man. That's actually one of my life goals is to out travel my dad.
Ooh.
Because as a kid, he'd always tell me all these countries that he's been to and like the crazy stories he's been to. So right now, I've only been to like 3 countries. I've been to Thailand, I've been to Nicaragua, St. Lucia doesn't count. I guess I'm from there.
Yeah.
Puerto Rico. Yeah, I'm trying to get my countries up.
Okay, so you've been to St. Lucia. How is that? Okay, let me ask you this because as somebody that was born here,
Hmm.
right, first generation Chicano, Mexican American, whatever that
Hmm.
identity label is, I consider myself Chicano, but my parents grew up on the same block, so my family lives kind of in the same community on both sides of the family. I haven't been there in a couple years, but I remember growing up as a kid. I knew that I was Mexican, but I never felt Mexican. You get what I'm saying? Like I speak
Oh,
fluent
oh, I know
English and shit.
exactly how you what you mean because like I'm I'm St. Lucian, but I have an older sister who was born and raised in St. Lucia. And like when I get around her, she always like, she says like, I have an American accent or like, you know what I mean? Like I only talk in Caribbean accents to certain people. And it's not one of those things where I don't think that, yeah, like I'm St. Lucian. I'm not St. Lucian, like you know what I mean, born and raised. But I also think, that's just a product of my environment.
Yeah, you couldn't control that, dog. You know?
Yeah. But it is interesting, like especially like when I first went back to St. Lucia, I was wondering like, like are people gonna accept me and this, that, and the third? Because like people can tell like this, that he's definitely St. Lucian, but they're like he definitely talks a little strange. But no,
Hey,
everyone was everyone was accepting. They were cool.
and not
They
just
were
any
cool with me.
accent. For you got that New York East Coast accent,
Yeah,
New Jersey, New York East Coast accent. Not just any
yeah.
accent.
I was like, y'all walked in the party. I'm like, yeah. They're like, Wagwan. I'm like, Wagwan.
Yeah.
I gotta throw a one after that. I forgot.
What's the what's the name of the language that they speak in St. Lucia?
Creole.
Creole. Okay.
Creole. Some people call it patois. It's like a
Fun.
like a broken French.
For sure. For sure. Yeah, it's there's a saying out here is it's too, and you could apply this to anything. It's too Mexican for America and too American for the Mexicans. You know what I'm saying? I always felt like that.
Mhm. I
You
got
ever
a
felt like that?
question.
What's
Yeah,
up?
and as somebody who's a Chicano, like, how do you? I don't know if you follow this, but how do you feel about all the American infrastructure and influence that's happening in Mexico? Like Mexico City, like there's parts of Mexico that are becoming very
Oh,
American.
very Western.
Yeah,
I mean, like I said, I haven't been there in so many fucking years. I went there in 2019, but that was to go and bury my grandma. So I was only there for like 4 days. So I didn't really get to see the city. The city. I used to go there when I was a kid a lot, like every
because I
December.
know. Oh, I'm sorry to cut you
No,
off.
no, go ahead, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, like, I know as a St. Lucian, like when I went to St. Lucia and I saw like Domino's and Chili and
Oh, you
Burger
talking?
King,
Okay, yeah.
I was like, I mean, it was cool because they were familiar restaurants, but at the same time, I kind of felt like there were too many,
Uh,
and I kind of wanted to stay St. Lucia and not,
uh, I get what you're saying.
yeah,
He's talking
and
about
not
like the
become westernized.
too much economic development takes away
Yeah,
the soul of the place.
yeah, too much tourism can take away, like Mexico City shouldn't look like,
LA,
yeah, you know what I mean?
I think is I mean yeah, it's cool for people's pockets, but looking at it mirror, I when we were talking about off camera, like as somebody that's like real spiritual, and we look at the soul of things and how every community has a soul. Sometimes when you think with money, it takes away some of that soul part of the community. And look, for example, we live in big cities, right? And we live in communities that have been predominantly, or at least speaking for myself, you could chime in whenever you want, but LA is LA. But South Central, especially like where I live and where my family, came to call home, has been real has had a big influence from the Mexican culture. So there's like Mexican restaurants and There's places where it's only Spanish speaking places, right? So it's still LA, but there's a big
Yeah.
population of a certain ethnic background, not just in South Central, but a certain ethnic background kind of dictates the way the community functions. But the moment you see like a Starbucks move in or like a Little Caesars move in, you start realizing, okay, like we call it gentrification in the
Mm-hmm.
academic world,
Yeah.
but as somebody that lives and kind of grew up there from an economic standpoint, that's cool, right? From a fucking pleasure standpoint, that's cool right now. Like, we got a fucking Starbucks, we got a Little Caesars. But from somebody that looks at it from a soul perspective, it's like that's cool, but what about the fucking moms and pops coffee shop that's down the block?
Yeah. Because for me, you go on a vacation to get away from those types of things. Like, yeah, it's a vacation to take your mind away from, yeah, to take your mind away from those types of things. So that's why I'm not again. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of it. But
Uh,
anyways,
no, you leave you leave the US thinking you're like, yeah, I'm about to get some fucking good ass food, and then you get over there and there's nothing but Little Caesars and fucking
yeah, bro,
Taco Bell and shit. Now that
I'm
tripped me
not.
the fuck out. I'm not gonna lie to
I'll
you, that
pass
tripped me
on
out.
that, man. I used to go. I was like the best thing when I went to. Well, that's one of the best things I love about growing up in this city. And I was like, when I moved back, when I was thinking about the life I wanted for my kids. Like for me, I love the fact that I grew up around Mexicans, Puerto Ricans, Dominicans, Indians. Like they're not like my blood aunts, but they're family. So they're like, like my titi, they're Puerto Rican, Dominican. So when I was out in LA, habla español, tú sabes.
Yeah.
Everybody was cool. I know a little bit of Spanish enough where I can, get around, and I really liked being exposed to different cultures, and I wanted my children to be exposed to that as well.
Let's get into your mom's side of the family because I lived in Ohio, dog. My heart will always have I will always have a special place in my heart for Ohio, but not Cleveland, right? I lived in Delaware, Ohio, which is kind of like a little city north of Columbus.
Hmm.
Cleveland is even more north, right? I don't know exactly how north it is. I went there one time, partied in downtown Cleveland, but you said Shaker Heights, correct?
Yeah, Shaker Heights is like a little suburb of Cleveland. We used to go there as kids, my brother and I. They'd take us to my grandparents' house for the summer. We didn't really do much, play in the yard, go to church, go to a Cleveland Indians game. Um, like every other summer, we'd go up to this cabin where we would just like play sports. But as I got older, I kind of got to see Cleveland for the city that it was, and as a city, I do not feel like there's enough opportunities in that city, and so it's very depressing. That's why I think the crime rate is so high. When LeBron James was on the Cavaliers, things were booming. When he left, went back down.
Hmm.
When he came back, things were good again. And then they've just kind of they've kind of found a medium. So now downtown Cleveland is a lot more. They've grown the economy. I still think they need a lot more diversity. It's still although it is diverse on paper, it feels very segregated as a state.
Mm. Cool. I'm gonna be 100% honest with this because I don't know if it's true. I might be lying and I might be making up some bullshit and it might come off as insensitive, but I went there in 2017. I think it was 2017 or 2016, one of those years. And I was there for 2 days. On a Friday night, the Cleveland Cavaliers had won their only game against the Warriors in like one of the finals that they played against. City was cracking, but all I saw was mostly white people, right? Friday night. Saturday night, I went out again and it was mostly black folks. So I don't know if that's like a thing, right? And it
That's
was just like
interesting.
I was like, you know what? I found that shit interesting, right? Because
Growing up in the city, it's still very segregated. Like I would go there every summer. Think about every summer I would spend there with my grandparents from the age of about 7 to about 14, 15. We go to church every Sunday. I can't tell you a white person that I've seen at the church. Not that the church is uh racist or segregated, but it's just a Baptist church. I think about, friends, like, my grandmother's friends or just, yeah. And I just don't think like I don't recall having any interactions with anyone that was white unless I was at the zoo or they worked somewhere. And that's what I mean about segregation. I think might, everyone might get along just fine, but they need to, if there was more integration of culture, or it would grow more as a city. Um, you think of, yeah, like I went to school in New Haven, Connecticut. Uh, I was a Division II school. I was supposed to walk on and play football there. That state is mostly white, black, a little bit of Spanish, but it's like a melting pot. Everyone is like on top of each other. And Connecticut's actually a really cool state. It's a little bit costly, but I like it.
Yeah. Oh shit. Yeah, I don't, if I only bring that up because you said it's kind of segregated, so I don't know if I'm, if like I said, I don't know, I don't want to come off as insensitive or as like, oh, you're making up shit, but that's the way that I saw it. Right? That was
Mhm.
my perspective. I was in the exact same place at the exact same bar at the exact same time on 2 different days. And on Friday, it was mostly white folks, and then on Saturday, it was mostly black folks. So I don't know. Like I said, I might come off as insensitive, but I'm just stating what I saw. That was my observation. But Cleveland, obviously growing up, listening to Bone Thugs, that's all you hear, fucking East 99 and shit, like all that, all the fucking the hood side of Cleveland. When's the
Yeah,
last time you've been over there?
man, maybe. Let's see. I moved out to LA 8 years, 8, 7, 8 years ago. I think like 2016, 2017
Mm,
for a family reunion.
It's a long time ago.
Yeah.
We're probably around the we probably ran into each other, dog, at the fucking
Yeah,
at the
probably
same
around the same
at
time.
the
I was
same
probably
bar
trying
and
to,
shit.
well, I used to wait till the end of the day because my grandma gets tired. My parents get tired early, get the car and just try to find something to do, man.
That shit was it was an
Man,
interesting time. I fuck with
yeah,
Cleveland. I like
yeah,
Cleveland.
it's a cool city. Not for
So
me, but it's a cool city.
so now you come into the picture. 1991, St.
Hmm.
Lucia, Cleveland, two different cultures. And you were born where?
I was born in Jersey City.
Jersey City.
Yeah, it's like New York, six borough.
Okay, okay. So I don't really know too much about that part of
All
the
right,
country.
so I'm gonna break it down like LA terms. So you got New York City, right, right, right. Then you got South Central. South Central is Jersey City,
Mm.
and then you got Watts. That's like Brooklyn, Queens, and then you got Philly. That's like Long Beach. So that's why you like, you know what I mean? Because I'm from
Uh,
Jersey, I'm a Phillies fan.
yeah.
Because like I was born in between, and I wasn't really. Giants never had a black quarterback. That's all I gotta say. And then I rolled down to Philly, 2005. Don McNabb. Then they get Mike Vick. Me and my dad went like to the city to check it out, man. And the downtown Philly got a dope setup because all their stadiums are like a block from each other.
Mm.
So you've got Eagles Stadium one block, then you got the Philadelphia Phillies, then you got the Philadelphia Flyers, and there's like all bars and restaurants. So like when there's like the season when the games are overlapping, you can just kind of hang out like locally, find some place to get to eat, and just meet a whole bunch of cool people. They call it the city of brotherly love, man. If you're there and you're like supporting a Philly team, man, you have made so many friends. There's nothing like it. And the cheesesteaks, bomb, fire.
I was in Philly for like 30 minutes one time. I've been to Jersey and I've been to New York once. And I think what you spoke about right now is interesting for somebody that's from LA because LA is such a big city, right? So it takes you, if you go an hour, dog, like east, you're still kind of like close to LA County. You go to an
Yeah,
LA East over there where you're from, you're already in a whole different state and everything's like
yeah.
so fucking connected.
1 hour from New York, that's Philly.
That's a whole different city. You know,
Yeah,
out here you're still an hour, like nowadays you're still in fucking LA County or whatever. So it's what I try to explain to people out there is like a vertical city. Everything kind of goes up. Over here is horizontal. Everything's so fucking spread out.
that's funny because I've got cousins that live in England, and they say it's the
Oh,
same thing. Like because England's such a small country, and they always trip out when people talking about, oh, they're gonna go drive for hours. If you drive for more than an hour in England, you're in another country. And here we go on like 6, 7 hour road trips. They're like, what?
oh shit, England. Ooh, yeah, that is a small ass country too. I'm not even gonna lie to you. It's kind of like the same thing as like New York, right? Like it's just
Well,
everything goes
because
up.
St. Lucia was owned by Britain until 1991, if you are, I'm not trying to get my dual citizenship because if you're a St. Lucian citizen, you can live in England for free.
Oh shit,
Yeah.
that's crazy. England. Before we continue, is there a desire to live in England, or is that just something that you want to do?
Oh, I definitely want to live abroad. Like, uh, right now, my oldest is 9. Yeah, it's a desire of mine. Like my wife and I have talked about it. We both want to live abroad just because, well, for several reasons. Um, we're concerned about like the food in America, like how it's being produced with all the chemicals and how they're controlling the food, healthcare, economy. We want to live in a society where college education is free,
Hmm.
healthcare is free. So like we've been doing our research. We don't know if we're gonna wait until uh, like the two oldest go to high school or wait for the two oldest to finish high school because we have 4 kids all together and then go. But like we were thinking about, yeah, Europe or South America. I personally want to go to Europe. It's got a strong economy. Plus, my Spanish isn't strong enough to be in Central America yet.
Oh
But
shit. Will you
I'm
thrive
open
in
to,
Spain?
yeah, bro. Like, man, Spain, France. Like right now, France, Germany, they'll pay you to go to one of those countries if you like start a family
Hmm.
because they're especially a lot of areas in Germany and Asia because their younger generation isn't producing enough kids, and so they want to stabilize their economy. So as long as you agree to move there and stay for longer than 6 years, which would make you a citizen, they'll pay you.
Oh,
So
see,
yeah, and
it,
because I've traveled a lot independently, I'm not afraid to live abroad. But it'd have to be something that would be like when my kids are older because you don't want to take care of babies doing that.
uh, I just say that because a part of me, like, I would love to live in Mexico
Oh,
for like a year or something, but I don't have this desire to move over there.
hmm,
And because there's a difference between living at a place and then moving to a whole place. Like I don't,
yeah.
I don't see myself ever
What
moving
people
out of
always
LA,
do
but
is,
I do have I kind of do want to live somewhere else again for a bit, just for a bit,
yeah.
just for a
There's a
bit.
there's great programs. Yeah, there's a lot of great programs. I've got like folders I could send them to you, on the side. But it's definitely something that I've been wanting to do. And there's companies that like pay you and help you relocate. Like really something that's really common. One of my favorite countries is there's a lot of minorities moving to Thailand.
Mm.
I personally love Thailand. The way they treat minorities there is like, it's amazing, bro. It's like
Oh.
because it's you grow up in a like let's say living in LA, like you're always watching over your shoulder for like cops and stuff like that. Like you gotta watch, make sure you know how to about to be the next lick.
Yeah.
Where in Thailand, you walk around and because you're minority, like people just like want to walk up to you and take your picture. Like not that I planned on doing it, but one time, like I was in Thailand by myself and I got blackout drunk by accident. And I woke up in my hotel room the next day, all my money on me, wallet, everything. And, I assumed I just probably took I took the little tuk tuk they call it.
Yeah.
It's like a little it's like a little a three-wheel ATV with a chair in the back, and they go. You pay them like what's like $4 US dollars. They go, yeah, they take you wherever you want to go. Taking that about take that all over. And then the exchange rate. Like when I went for a week for vacation, and I took like $600-700 and converted it to their currency. It was 22K.
What?
My 700 US dollars was $22,000. So I upgraded my room, bro. I had a pool on the roof. I always had somebody meet me at the door. I flew to another part of the country for another 2 days. And so yeah, it's really popular right now. Like a lot of minorities are moving there. Their rent is like $350 a week. Their utilities are like $47.
Oh,
If you
what
can
the
make
fuck?
money online, moving to yeah, if you can find a way to make money online, or you can get like a digital job where you can talk through Zoom, living in Asia or Central America is really beneficial. Save a lot of money.
Out here dropping gems and shit. I might think about it. Yeah, send me some of those photos. That's interesting, though. I never. You hear
Yeah,
about these
man.
programs, but I never knew anybody that's actively exploring to be part
Oh
of any
man.
of these programs.
Yeah, I'm actively doing it. Like before I got married, one of the like my number one program I was about to sign up for was like being it's called like a au pair, but it's spelled AU and then it's PAIR. And basically there's like all these countries, wherever you want to go to, basically sign up with a family. They give you like a little apartment and stuff like that, and either you have a job, helping for a couple hours a day, and that you get to stay there for free, or they pay you, um, or something else, or maybe like you teach their kid English, just talk to their kid in English to help them learn English.
Mm.
But you get a free place to stay, and like $300 a week to spend on food, and you work like 2 3 hours a day. You know what I'm
Easy.
saying? Like before, yeah, exactly. Before I had a family, bro, I was so thinking about doing that. I was gonna go to uh Japan or France. Speaking of, oh, this is the perfect time to do it. One of my like another dope person I worked with in New York, right? His name was Miguel, and his we were both working at the school. I was a substitute teacher. His dad was a custodian there all his life. Um, and then he got a job there, and he was kind of working as a custodian, and he just kind of felt like like this job was just like not going anywhere. He didn't want to be his father. He accepted a teaching job in Japan.
Mm.
Mind you, he has just a high school diploma, like one of those programs I was telling you about. They fly him out to Japan. They get him an apartment. He teaches English, this, that, and the third. This man hasn't come back since. He's
Oh
Mexican,
shit.
bro.
Yeah.
Mind you, not to visit, not nothing, bro. Flew his dad out to Japan. It's happy living, and it's just one of the things. The reason why because I have a dad who's not from this country, and he's always taught me to look at world news. I know that this picture that we're painted as Americans through the social media that America is the only free country is false. There's over 238 countries. 148 of them are free.
Mm.
Japan is free. France is free. Spain is free. Germany is free. Brazil is free. Mexico is free. Canada is free. But they don't want you to go anywhere because they want to keep your money here.
Mm.
You think
Oh
of you
shit.
you think about the projects, bro. It's set up that way. You
Yeah.
have a liquor store, a bodega, basically all your essential needs within a 1 block radius. That way, you don't leave your area. So you're not, tourists don't get to see you. You're not exploring. You're not growing as a person.
Mm. Damn. All right, dropping jams. Let's go, dog. Let's fucking go.
Yeah, but that's why
Mm.
I could never live in the projects. I was like, if I'm, I'd rather like right now we're staying at my parents just so I get on my feet, and it's like I'd rather stay at my parents' crib, you know what I mean, than the projects because I don't want that mentality.
Mm. So, just to kind of summarize and wrap up this segment, St. Lucia, Cleveland, but your roots are in different places. You've established
Yeah,
roots in different places, and you're still continuing to explore the possibilities of planting roots in other countries, which is dope, right? Would you? We don't really hear about that, right? You said it yourself. We
yeah,
kind of we kind of get stuck here, right? We have Amazon delivering our packages. We got the lick. We got all our fucking snacks and our fucking and our some people have vices. A lot of people have vices. It's easy to get stuck on the vices. Especially out here, dog. We got swam meets and shit. Like we got everything you need down
yeah.
the block.
You're
Like there's
right.
no
And
need
like
to
for
there's no need to
me,
move.
and I think for me, the only way I've been able to move the way I've been able to move is because I took the time to learn from my parents, learn where they came from. So it's like no matter what, like you adapt to different places. Like you know what I mean? Like you're in LA, you're gonna you're gonna use LA, some LA slang. But because I know who I am, I know there's some things about Jules that's never gonna change.
Mm.
Like you know what I mean? Like this Dr. Pepper, bro. How long I've been drinking Dr. Pepper?
That's all you drank, dog.
Like you know what I'm saying? I got students from 8 years ago that still tell you the same thing. But like I'm always being that person that's crack jokes. I want the best for everybody. But if
Mm.
you got to make sure for whoever might be thinking about, you or whoever else might watch the podcast, thinking about maybe doing something different. Taking a job in another country. You never know if you don't challenge yourself, but you got to know who you are and be firm in that.
Mm. Perfect. That's perfect piece of advice right there. That's that's a strong, and not even just for anybody that's traveling. That's just period, dog. Like just great
Yeah,
advice for anybody,
because
dog.
if
Like,
you don't believe in yourself, like if you don't stand on that, like why would I believe you?
mm, exactly.
And that transpires to like girls, jobs,
Everything.
everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, going back in the timeline a little bit to continue the
Mhm.
story of Jules, talk to me about your K through 12, starting with elementary school. Where'd you go to elementary school?
I actually went to elementary and middle school at the same place, man. At the school, Golden Door Charter School in Jersey City. It was a nice little school. Started real small. I think I was like the first class there.
Mm.
It was like the second grade, third, fourth, fifth. Didn't really have sports, really focused on education. Um, yeah, that was my middle school was all kind of like a blur to me. I was a good student. I went hard in gym class, and I had a good school. Couldn't really complain. Seventh grade got to a little bit of trouble, but nothing crazy. That's just what boys do in middle school. It wasn't until I'm a late bloomer, so it wasn't until high school, like my first year of high school, that for the first time I was in public school. And so like public schools, I don't know how they are out there, but like public school, my freshman class was 1,300.
Mm. That's a lot.
So like, yo, that jump was like a movie. It was overwhelming. Like, and I just hit puberty for the first time. So like 1,300 people, I'm used to like seeing the same 40 people, every day, to seeing a different girl every day in the school, a different new person every day. I'm like, this is crazy, man. And the school was so easy. Like there were some classes I would do all the work and then I would just walk out the class and just go hang out till the next period. But my parents knew like if I would stay at that school, it was gonna be down south quick. So they took me out the next year and they put me in Catholic school, St. Anthony. Man, that school saved me. St. Anthony's, it's closed now, but it was the best boys high school basketball school in the nation. They have the most national high school basketball championship to this day. They closed in like I think during the pandemic.
Mm.
But I went there, played basketball freshman year, no, sophomore year, junior year, uh, and junior year, yeah, and I also played football there. Sophomore year, dislocated my elbow, broke and fractured all at the same time. So that was the rest of the football season. Junior year, junior year was junior year. I was still recovering, so I didn't play. My senior year, I dislocated my thumb. And
Mm.
this is actually funny because both my thumbs were double jointed, so I can do like that, kind of
Yeah,
make like this weird thing. But
yeah.
since I broke and dislocated this one, I can't go back straight
Ah.
ever again. But basically, I went to go catch a ball. I caught it, and my own teammate hit me out of bounds, and my thumb got caught in the gate. And when I got
Oh.
up and I seen it the other way, I was like, dang, man, I'm
Oh,
not
shit.
trying to sit out another season. This is senior year, you know what I mean? So I just popped that mug in real quick, bing, bing, finished practice. And then I got home and I remember trying to hide it from my mom's, and she was like, your thumb is swollen. I was like, I just hit it against something. She was like, all right. Next day it's still swollen. She's like, did you hurt it? I was like, nah. She's like, I'm taking you to the doctor. I was like, nah, I'm good. Took me to the doctor. It turns out I had a fracture and a dislocate. The doctor was like, you did a good thing by popping it back in place, but you needed something. So I kid you not, man. I had that thing. He gave me like the Kobe mask for my thumb, and I had it taped up, and I was
Yeah.
playing. My
Oh
dad
shit.
actually came to like one of my games. Like I think as soon as I got it off, like the first time he ever came to like a football game, because he's West Indian. His football is soccer,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
and he worked like a dog. So he came to the game, and I caught a pick, and I'll
Yeah.
never forget, bro. I heard him in the stands. You would have thought he was at a boxing match. He was like, "Yeah, what? That's my son. Who caught that? He caught that. Yeah, what?" I was dying, bro. I was
Gotta,
dying.
hey, you gotta give a shout out to those fucking animated pops in the stands and shit. I never experienced that. My pop's never been that kind of person. But I've been at
Yeah,
different games where like the parents of a player have gone wild, dog, and you could
it's
just see their
crazy.
confidence,
Yeah,
build up.
because now I'm that dad, and because like for me, I know how much confidence I got that one time my dad was at that game.
Mm.
And like in my hood, I was the nicest at ball. Like I was the best corner. I should have went to a D1 school. But for some reason when it came to the games, I didn't play with that same confidence. And I don't know if it's because like nobody ever showed up for the games. Like my mom's was kind of like a pastor, so like church was kind of always more important. She was always doing something like that. And that's where all of like my family friends and stuff like that. So I never really had nobody at no games.
Mm.
So the one time that like my pops came, I showed out. You know what I mean? I was popping fools and everything. Like, so yeah, now I'm that kind of dad, and it's
Uh,
crazy because like I got videos of my son. Like, we teaching something like he running or something. I'd be like, yo, he'll hit me from the side, like, yo, come on, turn up, and he'll like, he'll juke some kid, mush some kid. Like I've seen him take some kid and just go, yeah,
uh.
and I just feel, and then look at me like, yeah,
Yeah,
and I'm like, you
to
know what
get
I
you
mean?
hyped
It's
up and shit. Yeah.
yeah, you gotta turn them up, man, because exactly. If you can build them up to feel that way, so that they're that way all the time, man, you're creating, for lack of better words, a monster, somebody that's unstoppable in a good way.
Mm,
You know what I
exactly.
mean? You should miss 99% of the shots you don't take, or 100%.
Man.
You gotta take them, man.
Yeah, you probably kind of felt like, I mean, speaking on the games, you probably kind of felt like, why am I doing this for what? Like nobody's here to support me.
Yeah, for me, I don't know. I got that dog. I'm not gonna lie, bro. I wanted to play. Like for me, it kind of hurt me because I knew how much of that player was inside. I never got that opportunity, and so
Uh,
I was just like, I got hurt 2 seasons in a row. This was my senior year. They kind of already had their favorite players on the team. I just,
Mm.
you know what I mean, just let me get my shot. So my pops came, they threw it my way. I caught that pick. I was like, yeah, let's, like let's go. But no,
Yeah,
like, high school I played baseball too. Wasn't wasn't that good at baseball. I'm not gonna lie. I could not hit a curve as a lefty to save my life, but I was fast.
mm.
If I hit that ball, that's it. They
It's a
put me
wrap.
in always the pinch run. Used to steal so many bases. As soon as the pitch lift his leg, I'm gone. Like
Yeah,
he lift his leg up, like I'm going safe. I'm over there doing my little white down.
you one of those what do they call them? Those key role players and shit in
Yeah,
baseball.
bro. And I talk smack too, bro. Anthony Edwards, yep, that's me, bro. I'm
Shit.
all in your face. Basketball, I'm talking smack from the time jump starts, bro. Like I'm third quarter, I'm like, bro, they still not passing you the ball. Look, I'm gonna leave you open, bro. Man, they didn't even see you. That's disrespectful, bro. I hope you know how to hear. Hope
Oh,
nobody
my
here
games and
watching
shit.
you. Yeah,
That's
yeah.
funny.
But I watched those Kobe documentaries early, and I learned, like, you know what I mean. If you can get somebody, if you can break someone's mental will, the
It's a
game is
wrap.
over.
It's a wrap.
Game is over. They look, young kids don't practice that these days, but
Mm.
man, how many games I won on the block just because I ran somebody's head, and I was short too. Like, there's no reason why I used to. Yeah, I used to get picks off of 6'1", 6'2", 6'3". It don't matter. I got enough heart. I'm gonna annoy you. I'm gonna nag you. Yeah. It's gonna be a little pest.
The intangibles, low character
Hmm.
traits you can't teach. You gotta just
Yeah, I
have
think
it.
of like Marcus Smart in the NBA. He's real scrappy.
Yeah.
I was a scrappy little.
Who's from the Ron Artest?
Oh yeah, he's from St. John's. I got a picture with him. He's cool.
Yeah.
He came because
Oh, he is from over
so
there, huh? Yeah, he is from over
yeah,
there.
so that's a funny story. So I told you I went to school in Connecticut, New Haven. After I graduated high school, to trying to be supposed to be a walk on, play football. Tore my ACL in intramurals.
Mm.
What would have been a pick six. Uh,
Damn,
and the only person,
intramurals? Ah,
yeah, and
damn.
the only person left to beat was like the quarterback. I don't know if it was the playoffs or not, but it was a big deal because, like I said, I was supposed to play on the team, and so like they would come watch 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 me play flag football. Like, yo, is he really a lockup? Like, let's see him. So when I tore my ACL, I was like, damn, bro. Like, I was having a great season. I mean, a great season, like a Travis Hunter type season. I was playing receiver and DB, getting picks taken into the house. I was taking that one to the house. And then, yeah, when I tore my ACL, it was like my whole world crashed, man. I
Mm.
like fell into a depression. I ended up like going back home, and then I transferred to St. John's, which is in Queens. It's more close to the crib, so it's like that family support. Like I've been telling you, like that's something I guess I didn't realize that I always needed was just to not be immediately on family, but they got to be nearby.
Cool.
Um, so I transferred to St. John, and I didn't know how not to be a part of a team. They didn't have a football team. I'm like, dang. So two of my roommates were managers for the basketball team, and I was like, what do y'all do? And they're like, oh, we like help them during practice. So they have practice players too. And I was like, yo, I could hoop. No, I could hoop. Like, I, I mean, can I cuss?
No, yeah, you good. You good. You don't trip, dog.
Oh yeah, but I'd be like, yo, I'll bust your ass 1-on-1. All you got, like, yo, say the park, let's go. Like I went to St. Anthony's. Like I might not have been better than them, but all of them went to like Duke. Like
Yeah.
I'm busting your ass, bro. So like they weren't trying to give me the job regardless. Cause especially because I was talking like that, and the dude was from like my area of Jersey too, so he already like we already know those type of people. Like it's not a bad way, but like we're gonna clash in a like in a good way. I don't blame him for not trying to get up this spot. So I went to the coach's office. I'm like,
Mm.
hey, yo, I heard y'all got some managers. I can be a manager. I know I can play basketball better than them. You know what I'm saying? They're like, oh,
Uh,
I'm sorry, we don't have any openings right now. But if you want, you could talk to the women's team. I was like, what? The women's team, bruh. You know, being all naive that I was, I went and talked to the women's wasn't the team manager, head of operations. And she was like, all right, come to the practice tomorrow at 10 a.m. and we'll see what you got. So before practice, I get there, I'm in my shorts, you know what I mean, my basketball gear. And I guess there's some other managers and practice players there already. And they're like, oh, well, you know, before practice, usually play like, you know, the manager pickup game, you know, see what everybody's got. So I'm taking this like a tryout. I'm
Mm.
hitting them, boom, boom, whack, step back, whole lot, euro, everything. And I'm going against this kid, man. His name is Bubba, right? Shout out to Bubba. You know, now he works for the Brooklyn Nets.
Ooh,
Uh,
okay.
but it was his first day too. So
Damn.
I'm like, yo, me and Bubba gotta battle out for this last spot. So I mean, every time we get the possession, me and Bubba going at it. Bucket, their ball. He's gonna get a little layup, something. We're just going at it. Oh man. Next thing you know, they come out like people were, I guess they were watching it from upstairs. They had like the offices upstairs, the glass.
Yeah.
They were looking down on us. And then practice starts. And they're like, oh yeah, we seen y'all. You know, y'all can hoop a little bit. They're like, you know, and they like to start a little mess. That you know, they're girls. They're like, which one of y'all better? And I was like, they were like, and I looked at him. He did the same thing, and I'm like, oh man, he's gonna be a problem. And then practice ends, and they're like, she's like, all right, we'll call you and let you know. Whoever gets the spot, we'll call you to show up same time tomorrow for practice. Now I'm gonna let you know the type of person I am, right? I'm not even waiting for them to hit me up. Nobody hit me up. I should showed up the next day at practice, same time, kept going. That was my job. That became my job. That's all I
Uh.
gotta say. So it was one of the things I didn't give him an option. I was like, I'm your guy.
Hey,
Funny
sometimes
story.
you have to be stubborn, dog. You have to be
Yo,
stubborn, right?
funny story. 2 weeks later, Bubba ends up getting hired as a manager. And
Damn.
me and him become boys for life, bro.
That's- So what happened? What happened after that?
After that, it was great. Me and Bubba were traveling with the basketball team everywhere the girls went. We went. Man, I saw some great schools. Auburn. I done been to DePaul in Chicago. I done been to Marquette. I done been all over.
Mm.
And you know, as a manager, you know these D1 schools they have D1 money, so I've been flown in private jets, first
Oh
class,
shit,
eating
yeah.
like hotel, restaurant meals, five
We
star,
living good.
living good. Man, we was living good,
D1
man. I
money.
didn't do, bro. Yeah, I got pictures at, like with the Chicago Bulls thing on the floor. I done been in Madison Square Garden, Florida Gators arena. It was a great experience. Yeah, I recommend a lot of people be a team manager if you can for a sport that you like. It's a good opportunity for you to learn the sport. You know, they also give you a tuition break, which is good.
You get to
Yeah,
be around the sport too.
yeah,
You continue to
and
be around the sport and everything. That's
you get a
fun.
scholarship, and then the little bonus part, you get treated like a player. So like
Ah,
I would get alternate assignments because we're gonna be away for a little bit. You know, when the tournament's coming up, teachers will give you a little leeway.
sick guys, fool
And
right
then because
here.
you're technically an athlete, you get to register for classes before everybody. So you get the best teachers, you know what I mean?
Do you have free
Like, yeah,
gear?
yeah, man, my
Uh,
whole family is decked out in Nike, Reebok, St.
ah,
Under Armour, St. John's gear. You would think my whole family is a starting lineup. They got jumpsuits, man. I used to get free kicks and stuff all the time. But in the
team
summers, I
manager.
would work with kids. Um, I work with kids at like summer camps. I now come back to school and it was cool, but it was kind of like a calm down. Like my summers were always great, man. I worked at summer camp, so basically for the whole summer, I would just play sports with kids.
Mm.
You know, swimming, basketball, football, And then I would come back to school and I'm like, I don't even, I'm the communications major and I really liked it, but it wasn't like, I didn't know what I wanted to do with it. I
Mm.
just really know that I'm going to school because, like I'm supposed to.
You're just there because you kind of have to, huh?
Yeah,
Uh,
man. So
so
playing basketball was like my outlet.
before we continue, so you went when did you graduate high school?
I graduated high school 2012, 2013.
And then
I graduated
you
college 2017.
you went to college?
I went to college 2012, 2013,
Okay, and then when did you transfer to St. John's?
2014, 2015.
So you lived in Connecticut for like a year, then you moved
Yeah,
back?
like a year and a half, 2 years. Like
Wait,
I did like my freshman and
okay.
sophomore year at
Okay.
New Haven, and then my junior and senior year at St. John's.
Okay, okay, for sure. And then you finished, you said 2017?
Yep.
All right. Yeah, so D1 monies at this point is already like next level.
Yeah, I wish that they were doing that NIL thing though.
You think team managers are getting paid off of NIL shit or not?
Bro, you're getting paid for your likeliness. We were me and my boy Bubba. We were the only males. Yeah, exactly. We were males for a girls basketball team. They're getting money. Like the players would have got money, and then they definitely would have hooked us up because we take care of them.
Mm,
Like
yeah, they
yeah, we used to OD take care of them, bro. Like what then they're like they're we don't play, but they're like teammates to us. Like so like they need something, we got them. They need a ride or something, or whatever. Don't matter, we got them.
man, so you seen some crazy shit then, huh? Just by being a team manager.
Yeah, I used to love pep rallies too, like at the school.
Mm.
I've been seeing Chitty Bang when they were popular back in the day.
I remember
I've
Chitty
seen
Bang.
J.
Yeah.
Cole live because he went to that school. So I've seen J. Cole twice live for free,
He
like
did go to
up
St.
close and
John's, huh?
personal because, you know what I mean? We're on the court with the players. That's where the stage is at. So I've seen J. Cole twice and then Lupe Fiasco. And then the hardest, the hardest, I seen French Montana in the summer. The French Montana don't hit the same way on the West Coast, but when you hear French Montana song on the East Coast, you know summer's coming. And summer on the East Coast like a whole different vibe, because it's cold out here for a couple months. Like right now, we got a little snow,
Oh, yeah, it is
but
snowing right
yeah,
now, huh? Yeah.
yeah, on the East Coast when they get warm, people be outside all day. Yeah,
So is that
it's
like
a
the
vibe.
sign? Is that the sign that shit's about to turn up
Yeah,
when
when
you
you
hear
hear
French Montana?
You hear new French Montana drop, you be like, oh yeah, bro. Like the summer he dropped that jump with Sway Lee.
Oh yeah, I remember that. I
Dun,
remember. I
dun,
was
dun,
in
dun,
college.
dun,
Yeah.
dun, 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 dun,
That the one where they recorded the
dun.
music video in Africa?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then when he dropped, I think a couple years ago, with the one with Kodak sliding with the mop stick, like a janitor. That summer was lit too, bro.
Are you speaking of music? All right. I was gonna ask
Hmm.
you. We established your K through 12, right? You started talking about your college. Talk about
Hmm.
your progression of music taste from when you were a kid up until your college years.
Well, as a kid, my dad was super strict. Like West Indian parents, like African parents, bro. Like the radio, he not trying to listen to that. Way too wild. I used to sneak at night, and I used to take my radio and put it on record when I went to sleep, but have the volume all the way low on a cassette. And then the next day, I'll listen to the cassette in my Walkman at school.
Mm,
So that's how I
yeah.
would hear the hits. And it would kill me because my dad be in the back making hits. I know he in the studio, but I hear people smoking, bro. I know they making music, but I can't hear the music.
Cause you're a kid.
Yeah.
So I mean
And then as I
obviously
got older,
hip hop
always been a New York hip hop head, man.
exactly. Yeah, I was about to ask you that
Most
shit.
Def, 50, uh, Talib Kweli, A Tribe Called Quest, Queen Latifah. But the New York legends go on, but like the ones that are most impactful for me were definitely Jay-Z, Nas, Mos Def. 50 Cent was my whole teenage high school years, bro. Like I 50 Cent had me wearing the bandana with the G-Unit sneakers. Like
Hey,
that
you
was like
actually own G Unit sneakers?
I own G-Unit sneakers
Yeah,
out
me
here. That
too.
was tough, bro.
I did too, dog. I feel like
Yeah,
I'm the
that's
only
so
one that
tough.
I ever knew that I ever or now that you say it, you're the second person I ever known besides myself to have ever
And then
owned G
being
Unit
from
sneakers.
Jersey is like a dual identity because Jersey got its own hit, like its own music scene. It has that club music that's popping now. That like with Lil Uzi Vert, like that's just another thing because we would have the New York music, but that Jersey music, like we would go to team parties, and I mean just hours and hours of just like dance offs, like you'd have like you see in those '90s movies. So like
The-
TikTok to me is like kind of cringy because like they'll play a song like I remember turning up to in high school, but the dances they have on TikTok would be nothing like it, and I'd be like, oh man, that's not the dance. The dance actually is if you do the real dance, it's better than that. Like type in just Jersey Club or Philly, and you'll see the real dance. It's much better.
Shit ruins your memories and shit.
Yeah, it's like cringy, bro. It's like you know what I mean. It's like you going on TikTok and you seeing this, you know, I sorry if I offend anybody, but it's like you seeing this white lady making Mexican style tacos, and this
Rachel
is
Ray?
what you, yeah, like you know what I'm saying, bro? Like, come on, man, come on, man.
Rachel Ray Pozole.
Nah,
Hey,
bro.
but the music stuff, I bring that up because we connected on Mobb Deep. Remember
Oh
this shit?
yeah, I listen to Mob Deep because of my pops. His all time song is Mob Deep with 50 Cent. Infamous,
Uh,
suppleness. You know how we get down. It's that choker. She's feeling my style. Come up in the spot real heavy in the waist. So when they want to move, we put them in their place.
that what was the name of that album? Blood Money.
Yeah,
It
that
was
one was
that Mobb
tough.
Deep when they signed to G Unit Records. That one was
Mm-hmm.
dope. When you hear Out of Control remix and shit.
Oh,
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
I got what it takes to make the club go
Go
out of
out of
control.
control. That song is a
Oh,
banger, dog. I remember I was a little
banger.
kid. I was a little kid when that shit came out. And the way you speak about 50 is the same thing, 'cause my older brother was born in 91, so you guys are the same age. So whatever he was listening to, I was right there with him. And so 50
Mhm.
Cent was like the biggest thing in 2003 to like 2007 or something like that. And it was all 50, Eminem, right? We still weren't really listening like Tupac and well, Tupac's my favorite rapper now, but we were listening to like just strictly 50, Eminem, a little, and then like the South, obviously you had like all the dancing music, like fucking Snap Your Fingers and all that shit.
Mhm.
It wasn't until I got into high school where I started listening to I really started listening to Tupac like religiously, and that's when I got into Mobb Deep. And I remember I think what the fuck, I think you were playing Shook Ones in the
Oh
office one
yeah.
day, and I was
Mm,
like, "You listen to this shit, right?" Because it's
mm,
I forgot that you're from
mm,
from over there. And then it hit me, it was like,
mm,
wait, well, he's from over there. Like, this motherfucker already knows this shit. Like, this is his shit right here. This
mm,
ain't even our shit. This is their shit.
mm.
That's the East Coast shit.
Yeah.
And I was like, yup, this is it. And it was like, you fuck with this shit? I was like, yeah, fuck. And then he started playing banger after banger after
I
banger
used to
after
try to
banger.
find my zen in that office because it was a lot of emotions and just a lot of like heavy, like you felt that emotional heaviness in the office. And I'm just like, yo, bro, I don't even really deal with emotions like that. Like, it's just, and it's not even my emotions that I'm feeling. I'm feeling y'all.
It's everybody's fool. The
I was
youth, the
like,
workers,
yo,
having no
but it's just,
windows.
yeah, that's what
Like,
I mean. Like, you know what I mean? I needed something like, I was like, so the music would like bring life
mm,
to my little pocket. You know what I
yeah.
mean? I just needed life in my little pocket.
Then I heard you play Shook Ones like, yeah, okay,
Hmm.
I get it. Um,
And then I played that 50 that hustler's ambition.
yeah,
Like the fire
yo,
needs the air.
I'm
I
telling you, that
won't
shit throws that
run
shit.
unless you're there. That joint's a banger.
I might go listen to that whole album after this
Mm,
shit. I remember when that
yeah,
movie came out. When
it's
that movie
Hustle's
came out,
ambition.
that whole
Yeah, I
shit.
might have to watch that. I might have to watch that, man.
Did you ever get into as a kid growing up? Did you ever even listen to any like West Coast shit before you moved over here?
I listened to Snoop. I was a big Snoop. I was actually more of a Snoop fan before I moved to the West Coast. I listened to Ice Cube. I listened to NWA. I was a big Easy E fan.
Mm.
Um, I'm trying to think of the West Coast.
Well, the only reason I ask is because as somebody that's from the West Coast, that's a big fan of rappers and groups from the East Coast, I've always wondered, have people from the East Coast been big fans of rappers and or groups from the West Coast? Because you've
Yeah,
heard
I
about
got
it, dog. You know, you hear about the
yeah.
rivalry and all that.
No, I got a lot of friends having friends of West Coast rappers, especially like Nipsey, uh, people of people like that.
Mm. What about in college? What kind of music were you listening to in college? Because this is what 2012, 2017, 2013, 2017. That's a little,
Well,
that was like
it's
we were in college around the same
interesting.
time.
Yeah, my first 2 years that I was in Connecticut, it was selective. Like when I was around a lot of my white friends, I listened to a little bit more radio music.
Pop,
You know what I mean?
some
Yeah,
pop
like
music.
no, no, like yeah, like radio pop music, the radio hip hop, not like like my gutter stuff because you know what I mean. It's a little too gangster for everybody.
Yeah.
In my own room, I bump what I want. But I'm very open to music, so like I listen to all genres, like you know what I mean. I definitely know some Three Doors Down, like you know what I mean. I'm not gonna hold you.
I don't know who the fuck that is, dog, but I shit.
uh, you know you know the song if you hear it. Like they have a lot of songs that are in movies and stuff like that.
Three Doors Down, maybe.
Hmm.
It sounds familiar. Might be some wrestling shit. Oh,
Oh yeah,
were you ever a fan of wrestling?
oh yeah, big fan of wrestling
So
and
I get
skateboarding,
my
like Tony
guess for
Hawk's.
I
Yeah,
be I be in here for I be asking my guests like, yo, you a fan of wrestling? Nah, fool, I never fuck with
90s,
WWE.
90s and 2000 wrestling though, bro. Like when there was the Degeneration X,
Yeah.
Big
Yeah.
Show, Kane.
Attitude Era, early 2000s. You talking about like before
Yeah,
John Cena blew up, huh?
yeah, Batista,
Mm, man,
X Pac,
that's still my
Jeff
oh
Hardy,
shit, X-Pac.
Mankind,
Yeah, you lived through the best time.
The Rock
I was
before
still
he
too
was all
young.
this. Yeah,
Yeah, I was still too
Stone
young to
Cold
experience that shit. Ooh,
is my all time favorite. Stone Cold is my all time favorite wrestler. It goes Stone Cold for me, Stone Cold, Triple H, old Triple H before he sold out. Uh, bro, Triple H
uh,
used to be such a real nigga, bro.
you,
For lack of better terms,
you
man.
talking about before he sold out, before he was like the champion on Raw, like when he was still coming up?
Yeah, when he was in DX, oh, bro, you could tell that Triple H nothing. He come out of nowhere and just pedigree somebody with this whole gang, the whole mandem. They out there, they was talking on me. All the
Boom,
DX would be out there stomping somebody out. Do, the
pedigree.
Generation
Yeah,
X.
yeah, yeah,
Suck it. I used to be like, oh, go to school tomorrow. Talk about suck it. They're like,
yeah.
you're sitting out recess. They told you that's inappropriate.
Sometimes, see, that's why I wish, sometimes things happen how they were supposed to happen. But something I do wish that I was born a little earlier in the 90s so I could have experienced the late 90s wrestling boom. I was fucking 5 years old in 2000, dog. So I didn't really get
That's
to
the
live that.
That's the problem having old soul, man. I still feel that way, man. I feel like I wish I was born a little earlier.
Mm. But I mean, now I get to like now with the internet and YouTube and when the network was out and now it's on Peacock, I go back and watch it at any point. But there's nothing like living. it in the moment. You
Hmm.
know, at what point you start watching?
Uh, Probably like towards the end of high school.
Hmm. Yeah, or so on a
Once
kind
it
of
once
on a
it became once it became apparently fake and real cheesy. As social media began to rise, I lost my joy for a lot of things, man.
ah, same, same, but like on a similar note, same thing with the music, same question from elementary school years up until let's keep it like as college to keep college in the same conversation. What kind of shows were you into? Like some movies, shows?
Oh yeah, that's what I was saying when I went to St. John's, bro. I listened to just more of my music, a lot of hip hop, a lot of J. Cole, a lot of mixtapes. I've never been a concert person. Like I said, my mom's like a pastor, so I'm like real spiritual, and there's like a lot of things sometimes that goes on at concerts that is a little is a little iffy. But when I did graduate college, my roommate and I went to go see Ray Shremmer. I remember it was Ray Shremmer and I think Jason Derulo after. But yeah, the Ray Shremmer concert was lit. And then right after that, I flew to Denver to see another friend and went to like their summer jam out there. I seen Macklemore, Wale, uh, Future, Macklemore at the time, and somebody else. But that was my first like West Coast experience because I went out there and like I guess I was like when weed had just become legal out there, so some dude like handed me a handful of weed, like "Welcome to Denver, bro." And I was like, "Whoa, I don't even know what to do with this, my guy."
Uh,
I remember walking to my friend like, "Yo, I guess welcome to Denver. Here you go." And I just gave it to him. But
oh,
yeah,
this
those are the
is
most concerts I've been to.
damn. I wasn't. Was I here? Yeah, I think I was here when we got legalized. But see, like when people talk about legalization, I never experienced any like it wasn't any different for foods from
Hmm.
LA. We get weed anywhere, dog. Like we didn't give a fuck, dog. Like find it anywhere. Trap shop, fucking regular shop, the homie, so the neighbor, someone down. Like it was never difficult to find any cannabis and shit. I never really understood what that was until you move out and you go to places where it's not legal. And you realize
Yeah,
like, damn, it's hard as fuck to get some shit like that out here. And I was like, oh damn, like, oh, so it's so fucking easy for me to get like that when I lived in LA. Um, but to kind of wrap up this conversation between K and college and stuff, what was your plan after college?
Um, after college, I still didn't really know. Like, I had this degree in communications, but like I said, I still wanted to work with kids. So I took this job uh, that I was promised, fresh out of college, working with kids, this after school program with a buddy of mine. Um, Really promising future. And then the boss got fired or whatever, or moved. And so, like, it kind of messed up our trajectory because he, he was our supervisor since we started there, and he was the one that was going to like help move us up. So then from there, I just started wanting to work with kids. Didn't really know how. Got some jobs subbing, which led to some full time jobs working with students. I was a substitute teacher, then became a full time sub in Harlem. I was a basketball coach as well at Opportunity Charter School. Shout out Harlem, East 110. Those my boys up there. Yeah, man, it was a great time, man. I remember when I took over that basketball team, they were like 0-4,
Uh,
and we went on a run, finished like 8-6. We lost the first round of the playoffs, but we had a lot of fun. It was a bunch of boys who thought they were losers, and we showed each other how to win.
mm. Biggest
And so
thing
I
you've
would.
Go ahead, go ahead.
Oh no, you're fine. I just really enjoyed that memory.
Biggest thing you learn as a teacher and biggest thing you learned as a coach.
Oh man, the biggest thing I've learned as a teacher is everyone learns different, and be prepared to teach your lesson multiple ways because they might not get it the first time.
Boom. Perfect. What about as a coach?
As a coach, I've learned to perfect your craft because you can take a lot of time, studying the other team and trying to perfect, exploit another team's weakness and stuff like that. And then you can get into the game and all that can go right out the window.
Mm.
But if everyone on your team knows what they're supposed to do perfectly, it won't matter. It'll be like
Fundamentals?
yeah, it'll be a well-oiled machine. Everyone knows their job, knows their position, and knows the person to the left or to the right.
Mm.
So if somebody goes down, you can just put somebody else in that spot.
Boom. At what point did you decide to move to LA and why did you move to LA?
I moved to LA about 7 years ago, so that's 2018. It was in the middle of probably about February. I moved there because my oldest son, he's 9 now, but at the time he was 2. I found out I was having a son, I think about a year after college. I got a call from someone that I had been with, and she let me know that she was about 8 months pregnant. She was gonna have a boy, and that it was mine, and I wasn't sure. So I flew out to LA, did the DNA test, and then as soon as he was born, I had just always been there for him. We met at school at St. John's in Queens, in New York. So she came back out to finish school, and he stayed with me. I would bring him over, to New York to see her for the weekends. I had him in preschool. It was good. But then when he went out there for that Christmas break after she graduated, she didn't let him return. And so she was like, "Oh, either you can move here and we go to court for it, or you know, or he's just gonna stay here without you." And after losing that bond with my son and just knowing as a teacher and a coach how much the impact of not having your dad around can do to a child, I just told my job, peace. I can't. I gotta go. I gotta go get my boy.
Mm.
And so I came out to LA, got a job at a bar, and just kind of worked and just hung out with my son. And I think although it was a great plan, I never really planned for the long run. And so looking back on it, I always just kind of worked and saw him, but I didn't plan a career. And so when I got married, my wife and I, when we have another child on the way, it just became really hard to support an entire family without that family support or just having a job versus a career.
Mm.
Because it takes a village to raise a child. I was very fortunate to grow up in that, and that's what I want for my children.
And it's also hard to not kind of have a set plan in LA. So
Yeah,
expensive, it's so big, it's
it
so easy
came
to
to
get
the
caught up
point,
in some shit.
man. Yeah, it came to the point where either I was going to take a second job or I wasn't going to see my kids all the time. But I'd be in LA or just move back home, man, be happy and, have them for the summers and the vacations. And ultimately, I chose my happiness, man, and what was best for my family in the long run. Being able to see their grandparents, their aunts and uncles, within 30 minutes.
Yeah. I know how
That's
that
what I
feels.
really want.
Yeah,
I
I
want
know.
them to know their culture and their identity.
Yeah.
I don't want them to grow up questioning that.
Or having their culture taught to them.
Yeah, exactly.
You want to learn, experience
Like
it.
my sister she's married and has kids, and they're all about the same age as my kids.
Yeah.
But yeah, because she's just like I said, she was born in St. Lucia. Her kids know so much more Creole than even I do. And so I'm excited now that I'm back home to for my kids to learn more about their culture, for me to brush up on mine. on my career to teach my kids, to go to family reunions and holidays and be around those type of events
Mm.
where you learn about culture.
Dude, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Like
Uh,
you learn how to dance to Spanish music at that first quinceañera. You know,
you
I
learn
I
about
remember.
Modelos and shit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they go to your uncle, go to your titi.
you learn about Modelos and barbecues
Yeah,
and all the cultural practices and the cultural traditions and all that. Learn
yeah,
about the culture. It's nothing like learning about the culture by being
firsthand.
in the culture, though.
Yeah, firsthand. TV can't teach you that.
Yeah, never. Oh, never teach it. But then out here, we found ourselves in the same in the same office, same job, different positions, obviously, but working with the youth, and we got real cool. What was like? I know you were only there for a little bit, but what was the biggest thing you learned at that job where we were at?
Oh man, that was one of the jobs I think that impacted me. I mean, I learned a lot. Um, man, I learned, growing up in Jersey City, Newark. If you ever seen the movie New Jersey Drive, that's exactly like what it was like growing up where I live. And they always had this saying like, people die in the hood every day, and not to make a joke out of it, but it's just like there's problems. Everyone has real problems everywhere, and I had the false narrative that some things only happen in my where I grew up in my hood. And then I went to LA and I realized, damn, some of these kids dealing with the same real life stuff that I dealt with, or kids that I knew dealt with. Um, and yeah, I was just reminded of how everybody has a great side to them, and I hate how society labels kids.
Mm,
That's probably why I have such a strong desire to work with kids that are labeled the bad kids or however, the outcasts.
mm,
But I learned that most importantly, I have to take care of myself before I can help anybody. Because there were times where the heaviness of my life was so much that I wasn't giving as all to my job. And so yeah, I just learned that number one, you gotta take care of yourself before you can help anybody. And I learned number two that when you really when you're real with someone, um, even if you're not there, they'll they'll remember what you taught them.
mm,
It's very hard to like let go because you're worried about, oh man, who's gonna care about them, who's gonna be there for them the way I was, this, that, and the third. But the biggest testament to what the impact you had in that person is how they act when you're not there.
mm,
Do they remember the things that you taught them? How they move.
man. It was it was dope. I mean, I was only there for a couple more months after you left. It was a dope experience. We had a lot of fun, especially like that one spring break, that one week we did a couple field trips and
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I feel the exact same way, dog. I feel the exact same way, and I enjoyed our conversations. I learned a lot about what being a father is, through you, right? Because obviously, I, a lot of my homies, their relationships with their kids have been have been interesting, but to see somebody that has like traditional family in a sense, like it was real eye-opening, and it was a reminder of like how I grew up and how beautiful it is when families are united, and
That's it, man.
you would talk about the sacrifices that you would have to make and the headaches you would have to go through because of just to see your fucking your son. My question to you is, this second to last question: who is Jules as a father and as a family man?
Oh man, Jules is a Jules is a father, man. I'm goofy. I'm silly. I play with my kids a lot. My son, I challenge him. I'm his person to play catch with, person to play tag with. We wrestle. At football games, I'm his mom, his motivator, and then to my daughter, you know, I'm her protector, her person to be silly with. We have dance parties all the time. Um, and then, like, as a husband, I'm the same way. I'm a goofball. I talk smack, but I'm a protector. I'm a provider. I'm real simple. My kids, my wife know. I really like to watch my sports. Chop it up with the boys every now and then. Much as I can. But things in life that make me happy are simple. My family's happy. I got some the people around me that care about me. I'm straight, man.
Mm. For sure. Yeah, I could see it. What I always tell you is like, hey, dog, you're a great father. And you're great. I would always tell you that shit because I working with the youth, right, and seeing the other side and the effects of kids not having their father, right? Because most of our experience has been first gen. A lot of these kids are second gen that we're working with. So their parents were born here, and so their parents are more Americanized. Our parents, they were born in their country, so we kind of learned a different culture. But to try to raise
Hmm.
kids here, especially in LA, it was tough. And we would talk about it all the time, and you would be real honest and shit. And I mean, I would pick up game. I was like, damn, when I have kids, I won't, I was like, I won't be kind of like Jules and shit. Like that fool, he really had
Yeah, you
like,
gotta.
I know you say you didn't really have a plan, but you were kind of like you were forced to just act for and not stand still.
Yeah,
You can't.
that was like one of the biggest. Like that's one of the best decisions that I made. When I came out to LA, I was single. But when I met my wife and we first started dating, my son loved her instantly,
Mm,
and then her daughter, they instantly bonded. She was like barely one at the time. And my son approached me. I had already been thinking about it, and he was like, "Hey, can you make my wife's name's Dominique?" He was like, "Can you ask mommy to be like my mommy forever? Like I don't want her to go anywhere." And so for me, that meant a lot because I was saying, boom, number one, whatever he is going through when he's not with me, somebody's not meeting those motherly needs. And then number two, this person that I have put in his life, he loves so much he doesn't want to leave his life ever again.
mm.
And they have qualities that he wants in a mother, which is ultimately something that he's gonna look for in a wife. And so I looked at my wife and I was like, is that what I want for the rest of my life? And I was like, of course. Like, you know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like I said, like, you know what I mean? The plan was kind of put out there for me. So I don't regret anything. Every decision I made, no, yeah, I'm very grateful. My wife and I, we don't argue this. We talk about things.
Mm.
There's, I hear my boys, with some real toxic relationships. So I'm very grateful.
Yeah, that's what I mean, dog. You hear about it all the time, dog. Here, there's a lot
Yeah,
of
bro, some
LA,
crazy stuff, man. Like,
LA.
nah, yeah, exactly. LA makes you grateful, bro. LA makes me grateful. And I
Quickly,
also, for what
how'd
it's
you?
worth, I think there's too much entertainment in LA,
Mm,
and that's why it's like that because everyone feels like they can instantly become a celebrity or celebrities are within reach. That there aren't enough people that are focusing on family values. Oh, so I think that's why we see a lot more of those relationships like crashing out the way they do. If there was more examples around. Hmm.
quickly before we end, how'd you meet your wife?
Oh, this is the funniest story. So I met my wife on the dating app right before the pandemic. I was totally against dating apps. I had a coworker who was like, "Oh, you should try, especially because you're a parent. Like you're looking for something serious, but you don't want to waste your time. So if you meet somebody in an app, you can at least just kind of get to know them. It's not like you're not meeting people in person." And so we had been chatting for a little bit. Um, and then I actually like tried to set up a date with her like twice, and she curved me. Like the first two times, I had like something set up. Last minute, oh, I can't do it, or some excuse, bro. I don't care what the excuse was. I've been around too long. Nah, if you wanted to do it, you would have did it.
Yeah.
Second time, last second. boom, curved me, or
Oh.
something came up. I was like, bruh, I ain't about to waste my time no more. So like the second time she said no. Like the next day when she like texted me or something like that, I just let her know like I ain't trying to play no games. Like straight up, like I ain't even planning a date no more. I'm like, yo, if the pandemic about to start, like if you want to come over, like you know what I mean, we can just kick it. You know what I mean? Do something light, some light food, and you know what I mean. That's about it. That's about as much energy as I'm putting out there.
I'm not
That
trying,
next
dog. Fuck that
that
shit.
next date was the last date, bro.
Uh,
That was it. That next date was the last date. Now we married.
uh, boom.
Got yeah. We got our girl. Well, she has her daughter, which is which technically is my stepdaughter, but that's my daughter. I have my son, which is technically her stepson, but that's her son. And then we have Jaleesa, our daughter, together, and we have a boy that's due at the end of March, early April.
Mhm.
Julian the third, JT.
That's right.
Yep, JT coming.
Congrats on being a great husband. Congrats on fatherhood, dog. Real inspirational. I know we're not that fucking far apart from ages, but I learned from all the people. I learned from everybody. One thing that I learned from you the most, and I'll say it all the time, is that family, like how to be a family man and how to be a great husband. Because it is out here in LA, you get lost in the sauce, dog, and all that shit goes
Very
out the
easy,
window
very
like that,
yeah.
fool.
Keep those blinders on, man. What's important to you? Just focus on that.
Yeah. But we've come to the end, dog. I have one final question just to wrap it
Of
up.
course,
If you could talk to the future Jules, what would you ask him?
man. If I could talk to Future Julz, man, I'd ask him the lotto. Nah, I'm just playing.
If so
But
many people have said that shit.
nah, I was just talking to Future Julz. I, that's a good question because I wouldn't. I'd ask him if there's anything that I can do now to help me get to where he is faster.
Ah, boom. Perfect. Perfect. Whoa. Thank you, Big Dog. Thank you for joining me on this little adventure. Thank you for joining me on my podcast.
For
Like I
sure,
said,
man.
you were on my list for a long time, and now that we have this on video, we now have documented the story of Jules for the world to listen to. This is for your family, your friends, and your followers. Any final words before we finish?
Um, First of all, I want to say something that I think was crazy is because, like, I told you my mom's an elder. I would say, looking back, that God's always been in my life. It's something that I've definitely, started going back to church a little more even before I moved back home. But I would just say that God is good, man. Everything that I have, my family, my job, God has blessed me with. And, even times when I was down and out or I felt like I was down and out, God held me down or put people in my life like, my boy O, you know what I mean, to be there. So for anybody who's, going through it, just know that God sees you and keep your head up. All right.
Boom.
It's your boy Jules. I'm out.
Thank you. Whoa. It's your boy O3 signing off. Don't forget to love yourself today, all right? Adios.